What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy TerraPro13 bringing you guys episode 2 of Into the Universe. This is the series where I talk about the space and the universe, and really quick, I'm just going to introduce the gameplay. This is a 59-2 domination gameplay on Plaza using the PDW. I went pretty ham this game, and there are some parts where I play kind of slow, but I do play the objective, and I was just trying to keep this kill streak going. Anyways, let's get into it. I think for today's episode, I want to do the Big Bang Theory, not the TV show. I don't really care for that show. I never really found it to be that entertaining. Maybe that's because I kind of am one of those nerds, and my friends are kind of like that too. But I never really found that to be that. I mean, there are some funny parts, but really I never found it to be that entertaining. But anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the prevailing theory of how our universe was created and how we all kind of came to exist. I don't really know if the Big Bang doesn't really have much to do with how we came to exist, but just how the universe came to be. And this is a very, I guess, controversial topic, especially, or maybe not across the pond, but here in America, we have the people that are a little bit too religious. I don't want to say too religious or anything, because I don't like mean to say that they're idiots or anything, but because in their religion, they believe that it was not the Big Bang, it was their God who just kind of poofed everything here 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. But science says that's kind of not how it happened, and it was a lot longer ago than that. And first of all, I just kind of want to explain the whole theory thing, because you hear those people that say, oh, it's just the Big Bang Theory, and they make such some emphasis on the theory part, that it's like, oh, it can't be right, it's just some crazy guy's idea that he just theorized something, and no, this is just stupid. I think what they fail to realize is that all of science is theory, and gravity is just a theory, and yet a lot of people seem to believe in gravity. That, I mean, maybe that's because they experience it every day. It's more easily proven, and you know, everything in science is theory. The germ theory, electric theory, I mean, what makes your phones work and all that is based off of a single theory. Maybe not a single theory, but it's based off of scientific theory. So they just failed to realize that even though it's the Big Bang Theory, the reason they got the title theory after it was because the evidence and the evidence really points towards it. There's a lot of proof for it, and that's why it is called the theory. If it wasn't, or if it didn't have a lot of proof and evidence pointing towards it, it wouldn't be called the theory. In the scientific world, you don't get to the theory status until there is proof and evidence for it. So I'm going to go ahead and try and give you guys a little bit of a brief description of what the Big Bang Theory pretty much is stating. So it says that around 14 billion years ago, 13.7 I think is the more exact number, our universe was just this small, like, you can't even see it, infinitely small, but it was infinitely hot, infinitely dense speck of just pure energy. And eventually what happened, and this is based off of Einstein's theory of relativity, the E equals mc squared. We all know that equation, and what that is saying is that energy and mass or matter can, you know, are alternating. They can be interchanged. You can go from energy to matter, matter to energy. And so what happened was this small speck of just pure energy, eventually it just blew up. But we don't know how long this little speck of energy was there, but eventually it blew up, because in probability, if you have something with even the smallest chance of happening, if you keep running this experiment over and over and over again, eventually it will happen. And so eventually this small speck of energy became matter and blew up, and the blowing up part is where we get the name the Big Bang. Now, a lot of people like to say that the flaw in this theory is that we don't know where this speck of energy came from, and for some reason this just makes the whole theory like not credible. You can't use it, because just because we don't know where the little speck of energy came from, for some reason that just invalidates the whole thing. That just because we don't know that little piece makes it non-usable, which I think is a little bit ridiculous, because I don't think we'll ever know what it was that, like, why did this speck of energy, like, why was it there? We will never know that. But we will know what, caused or what made this universe the way it is today, but we will never know what that little speck of energy was doing there. It could have been some god that just placed it there and said, you know what, eventually this is going to go off, and it will make some planet. We don't know that, but it's just fascinating to think about it, and that's why I really enjoy the science. But anyways, so the proof for the Big Bang. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the expansion of space, and using Hubble's law. And Hubble's law is pretty much explaining how the space is constantly expanding. There's a Hubble's constant and how quickly it is accelerating and expanding, and we can tell that the universe is expanding by using the Doppler effect. This is something I talked about in the previous video. We can tell that planets, galaxies, stars, they're all moving away from us, and the further they are, the faster away they are moving from us, the faster they're accelerating. And so what this leads scientists to think is that, well, if we are constantly expanding, if we go back in time, I mean, if you reverse time, that means that we're constantly shrinking and getting closer and closer to each other. So that means that at the beginning of time, we must have all have been at a single point, or this point of energy that I spoke about earlier. Now the next big piece of evidence is cosmic background radiation. Some of you guys may have heard this before. This is one of really the big pieces of evidence for the Big Bang. So if one were to look into space with a traditional telescope, nothing fancy, and just one of those regular ones that you buy and look into stars and look at stars with, and you look into the more empty parts, you would only see darkness. Now, if someone had a telescope that was sensitive to different wavelengths, like microwave, UV, other kind of wavelengths, and not just visible light, they would notice this constant glow in the background, no matter where they looked. And this glow is not associated with any sort of star galaxy, it's just everywhere. It is almost the same amount everywhere you look, and it's actually a good thing that it's not the exact same, because if the glow was the exact same amount everywhere, we probably wouldn't be here. Now, this cosmic background radiation is well explained as an early stage development of the universe. Before it was filled with galaxies and stuff, the universe was much denser and much hotter, and it was filled with this uniform glow when the universe was just a fog of hydrogen plasma. But as the universe kept expanding and cooling off, this plasma state cooled down and eventually became cool enough to form protons, neutrons, and electrons. And this is when the universe went from being opaque to transparent. And what we have left of this, evidence we have left of this stage is this cosmic background radiation. And those are pretty much just the two biggest pieces of evidence for the Big Bang Theory. There are some other smaller ones, like the abundance of primordial elements. Using the Big Bang model, it is possible to calculate the concentration of helium-4, helium-3, deuterium, and lithium-7 in the universe as ratios to the amount of ordinary hydrogen. And this is something scientists use to pretty much just calculate the ratios of these amounts, or these elements that are primordial, or they were pretty much in the beginning of the universe, and they determine how much of that is left to the ordinary hydrogen we have today. And this is also evidence for the Big Bang. And there are, of course, there's some other smaller things, but those aren't really as interesting, and they're a little bit harder to explain, so I'm just gonna stick away from those. But this has pretty much been the video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 2 of Into the Universe. If you guys want to know anything more specific, let me know in the comments below, and I might just kind of focus on that one for the next video. But this has been Turbo13. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
UAV on standby. Friendly hunter-killer drone deployed. Losing Alpha. UAV inbound. Hellstorm missile inbound.
Dropped him.
Care package inbound. Friendly hunter-killer drone deployed. Losing Charlie.
He's out.
Lightning strike coordinates received inbound.
Airspace full. Good strike. 2 EKI
Inbound.